In this video, we're going to manipulate time. We're going to manipulate time to the fact that we're going to give the countdown to the 10 best extra turn cards in MTG. 10 best, and I know what you're thinking. Wow, there's 10 cards of extra turns in MTG, and I have an answer to that. There's 48 cards that allow you to take extra turns in MTG. And doing this research really had me baffled, and I didn't know it was going to be so hard. Honestly, I thought there would probably be about 15 to 20. I could, off the top of my head, and really all runs Epiphany and the Alchemist one that just came out were the ones that got me thinking. And off the top of my head, I could name maybe 10, you know. Turns out there's 48. So let's digest that and take a look at the 10 best, in my humble opinion. In the comments, lay down your best. Welcome to the channel, my pack cracking family. Clever Magic Trevor here on the Clever Magic Community YouTube channel. And like the cards we're going to be talking about, I've needed extra turn after extra turn. First, the dogs wouldn't stop barking, and every time it got to an important scene, they'd bark like crazy. It was just driving me freaking nuts, so I'd restart it. And then this most recent time, I actually hit the wrong button. I thought I was recording the whole time. It was a fantastic video. If I could have actually recorded it, it wasn't even a video. So here we go again. These are my 10 best extra turn cards. They're arguable. They're arguable, but they are fantastic, and I think I give some good reasoning to why they're fantastic. Let's start with number 10 and count our way down. What is number 10? It is Karn's Temporal Sundering. Yes, it's a CMC6. It's two blue and 4 colorless. Look, it costs more mana than the typical extra turn cards. Some extra turn cards, and as a rare legendary sorcery, it can only be played while you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Additionally, it'll exile itself after use, preventing graveyard recoveries. So look, it does have some downfalls, right? Despite the disadvantages, Sundering offers an amazing effect. Not only do you get an extra turn, devastating in and of itself, you also bounce up to one target non-land permanent back to its owner hand, forcing them to waste time and resources recasting it. Since this targets, it can't impact units with Shroud, Hexproof, or protection from blue, but it's an awesome bonus on top of an already monstrous effect, which is the extra turn. And of course, as icing on the cake, since the bounce text impacts up to one unit, you don't have to return a card to the hand if, in the rare cases, you don't want to. So you can still play it for a 6-drop and get an extra turn, right? As long as you got a legendary down there. Number 9, Time Walk. Why is this not number 1? Well, honestly, this is the best extra turn spell in the game. So why isn't it not number 1? I'm ranking it number 1 because it's rightfully banned in just about every format, limiting its usefulness. Time Walk simply grants an extra turn for a stupendously stupid low cost of 2 mana. How is that possible? This is less than half the 5 that would become the extra turn standard, and there aren't any drawbacks to balance it out. Heck, only one of the mana needs to be blue, so it's not hard to fit Time Walk in the multicolor decks either. So it's just, I had it at number 1, honestly, but since you can't ever play it, I had to bump him down. In addition, I happen to think this is the best card in the game. I think it's better than Black Lotus, even though Black Lotus is iconic. Black Lotus helped you ramp to a 2 or 3 turn win right off the bat. So why would this be better? Because this won more games. When you look back at old games back in the day, this won more games, and it's the best card in the game in my opinion. So that's short and sweet and to the point, but it's number 9. Let's go to number 8, Lighthouse Chronologist. Yes, I did say that correct this time, which I did not in the last few videos. It's arguably the best level up creature in the game. I say arguably, I don't think so. I think it is the best level up creature in the game, but Lighthouse only takes 2 blue mana for its initial summon, which is a 1/3. Um, with an addition, with the level up with an additional mana to access his best abilities. Thankfully, these level counters can be accumulated across several turns, making this card a great way to spend leftover island resources and keep it up in the meantime while you got to keep them alive, right? Because it begins as a 1/3, which is okay, but there's a lot of removal that target 3 defense. So it's not bad at that, but he improves to a 2/4. However, you really want to attain level 7 or above at this point. Not only does your sorcerer advance to a 3/5, it gives you an extra turn whenever another player's turn ends. A continuous and deadly boost that will help seize a late game win and basically take over. So, I mean, you use auras, artifact equipment, and instant counters to help him stay alive and reach the peak of that level 7 plus. So, you could put him up higher. I put him down lower because it does take more time to get to it, and we're talking about extra turns. So, number 7, Final Fortune. I had to put this one in there. It's only a 2-drop. It's a rare non-blue extra turn engine. Final Fortune can be played, used the Mountains of Red, obviously, with the identical low cost of Time Walk. It provides the same extra turn boost as an instant, and it can be cast on any phase of either player's turn. So it's an instant rather than a sorcery, right? So, however, there is a downside, and then the reason why it's not number 1. You automatically lose the game. Not when you play. But at the end of that turn, you lose the game, the extra turn. So it's a big risk, big reward, but you can mitigate your chances of defeat by comboing with creatures or just preventing the loss. I think if your board presence is really good, you're probably going to play this and take over the game, right? Take over the game. So even though it's a 2-drop, you're probably not going to play this early on unless you have some way to mitigate the second lines on this card, which I couldn't think of any. So, but it's a late game hero. It's red. So on to number 6. I love this one. Teferi Timebender. Okay, several planeswalkers offer an extra turn in their ultimate loyalty ability, but few can attain it as fast as Teferi's Timebender form. You'll need the islands of blue and plains of white to utilize this potential sorcerer. So, you obviously have multiple colors, and he's not cheap at 6 mana, but Teferi arrives with 5 loyalty and 3 awesome abilities. You get a +2 loyalty counter on taps up to 1. Clicked off. Give me 1 second. Okay. Tap target, untap target artifact or creature, and the second one, the -3 gains you 2 life and draws 2 cards. It's just, both those abilities are fantastic, but of course we're most interested in the -9 ultimate, which simply lets you take an extra turn. It's stupid. You can access this effect after just 2 +2 effects, which it's much quicker than Teferi's peers and the other planeswalkers I mentioned. And if you have the infamous Doubling Season enchantment out when Teferi entered the field, he can both use his ultimate on his first turn and survive the subtraction with 1 loyalty left. Are you kidding me? Allowing you to continue to harass the other player. You get to get the extra turn, then the next turn you get to untap again. This thing is stupid. So the thing is, it does possibly and more than likely take a couple of turns to do it. So he did get the number 6, but number 6 is great because these other cards are fantastic. Let's go to number 5, Time Stretch. It's a 10-drop. Yes, it's at a vast mana cost of 10. So playing time stretch under normal conditions isn't easy, but it is getting easier and easier to get mana down and to manipulate mana. So making it a prime candidate for free casting effects, like one of them that's below. I'm not going to mention this. Still, when you finally get to resolve time stretch, it grants a target player 2 extra turns. 2 turns. Basically, in my opinion, it's game over. You won't find many stronger effects than that, and since you can target players other than yourself, you could ever use time stretch on potential allies. I mean, so you're in a multiplayer commander format and you need that other player to gain an extra turn. My goodness, yes, you can use it. In the faster games of modern format, you may have trouble activating this card, but the higher life totals of Leviathan Commander can help alleviate those issues. So, yeah, I did have it as number 5. 2 extra turns is just stupid, and it's pretty. I mean, it's going to change. It's going to change the game, right? So number 4. This one, man, the top 4 I went back and forth on. So let's take a look. It's Expropriate. Yeah, it's a 9-drop, right? Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. And then you exile Expropriate. You don't need it again anyways. Like Time Stretch, Expropriate is one of the best sorceries in the game. It is a sorcery, offering a similar effect with a slightly reduced, albeit still extreme cost of 9. As a Will of the Council card, Expropriate has each player, including you, vote for time or money. So check it out. You know, you're always going to get an extra turn as long as you vote for time, right? Because you're not going to take over your own cards, right? Why would you ever vote money on your own cards? But the reason it didn't get number 1, which I did have it at number 1 when I was making this list, is because in a one-on-one format, they're probably gonna choose money depending on their board presence, or maybe they'll choose time. You'll get 2 extra turns. So yes, it's better than you get 2 turns. It's better than the time stretch. But in a multiplayer format, this is the best extra time card available. It is by far the extra, because you are going to get probably 3 monies in one time, or maybe 2 times, so 2 extra turns, and then still get 2 monies. So you get to take over cards, and let's be real. If you have 9 mana to play this, the board presence on other people's boards is the board state is probably going to be pretty developed. You're probably going to get a pretty dang good card. So if they say money, you're probably going to get takeover. This is going to be a game changer. So Expropriate, I've actually given away a few of these cards on the channel, probably about a year plus ago. But these cards this card is unreal. It could be number 1 in a multiplayer format. I have it as number 4 because in the one-on-one, it's just not quite as good, but it is unbelievable. Expropriate. Let's go to number 3. Savor the moment. Savor the moment. This is only a 3-drop. This is what makes this one so unbelievable. Take an extra turn after this one. Skip the untap step of that turn. Okay, look. Depending on how much mana you have, this is going to be, pretty unreal. It's a sorcery, yes, but in late game, it's pretty powerful. I mean, it grants you an extra turn at a reduced cost, and unlike Time Walk, it's legal in most formats. So as a 3-drop, you're still going to be able to get it down. You're probably going to have extra mana to do stuff with anyways. And to balance out this effect, you have to skip your untap steps, but more than likely, you either have an extra mana or you're going to be able to draw one. You can play that your next turn. There's so many cards that give you the ability to untap these cards, and so it's just become pretty powerful. And I do have it up in number 3 because more than likely, and when I've seen this played, it is in late game, and you don't need those extra 3 mana. You're basically going to take over, and 3 mana to play an extra gain an extra turn. It's just stupid without really any. There's no drawback with the exception of the 3 untap. So that's number 3. Number 2 are 3 cards We got temporal manipulation, time warp, and capture of Jingzhou. Jingzhou. Yeah, here they are. I mean, their target player takes an extra turn after this one. 5 mana. Okay, it's an extra turn. It's 5 mana. But the reason why these ones came up as number 2 because they're pretty simple text and it's really, I mean, it's still 5 mana to play and you only get 1 extra turn. But there's 3 of them. There's 3 of them. So if you're an EDH player, if you play Commander, you can have each one of these in your deck. Obviously, Time Warp's my favorite, the original Time Warp in Tempest, because I love Tempest. But I mean, there's no gimmicks. There's no fluctuating resource price here. You pay a fair chunk of mana and gain an extra turn, so it's pretty unbelievable. The thing is, you can have all 3 of them in your deck. So on to number 1, Temporal Mastery. It's a 7-drop. Take an extra turn after this one, and then you exile it. But why is it so great? It's Miracle 2. You may cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. Yes, I mean, let's be real. You can tutor it to the top. Automatically make sure that it's your miracle. You can play it early on. You know, basically, if you draw in your 7, you have a couple extra turns, so you have a couple turns, and then you draw it after that. I mean, if anytime you draw it after the first 9 cards drawn, you're going to be able to miracle it. So it's pretty unbelievable. In the beginning, it can change the beginning part of a game. Because you get to lay that extra mana. It's a ramp, basically. And at the end of games, it's stupid. I've actually given away this card. I have given this card away on this channel. And it is, it's under $20. So I typically, and some of them are, upwards of $100. So this is an unbelievable card. And I think it deserves the number 1 spot. And with that being said, those are the top 10 extra turn cards, in my opinion. I spent a lot of time on this one. A lot of time. There's 48 cards. There's, I think there's a Boros card. There's a green card. There's all black cards. There's Azurius cards. There's quite a few Izzet cards, which I do love Izzet. So let me know what you guys think. If you had any extra that you had in your mind on the list, or if I was a little, off on numbers, let me know in the comments. But I do think these are the top 10 spots, and I know number 2 had 3 cards, but they're the same card. And the reason they got that spot was because you can have all 3 of them in your commander deck when you can only have 1 of each card. So, and it's the same outcome. So that's what I had as my top 10 cards. Let me know what you think. And of course, as always, we'll catch you on the next video.